Hello!
Hello and welcome.
Welcome to Drunk Doctor Who episode 35.
35. Serial 35.
Serial 35?
That's quite a turbulent time in the history of... What?
It's about airplanes. You used the word turbulent. Yeah, that's
quite a turbulent time in the show of Doctor Who, where we have a new prop maker, we are losing companions, we have a new intro theme. Lots of things changing.
Most of those changes were good. Okay. So anyway, this is the penultimate serial for what?
Penultimate that's the one right before the ultimate.
Right, so next to the last.
Next to last to what?
The ultimate is the last. The penultimate is the next to last.
To what? Of the season?
Yeah, this is the penultimate serial of the season. The next serial, number 36, Evil of Daleks, is the final serial of the season. Where are you going? Alright, so anyway, for this serial, it's 6 episodes. They were aired from April 8th, 1967 to May 13th, 1967. The companions were Ben, Polly, and Jamie. Although, to be fair, Ben and Polly actually say goodbye during this serial, so...
It was touching.
Huh? Yeah, kind of touching, So, Ben and Polly leave. We've had them there for so long, they're on there. Alright, hold on. I'm going to erase it. Chameleons. Alright. So Ben and Polly, at the end of the serial, end up leaving. They are companions for the entire serial, but in the 6th and final episode, they do leave.
Unlike Ian and Barbara, they're actually back in their own time, but not a year.
Correct. Ian and Barbara return 3 years later, which was from the original time to the current time. These two, Ben and Polly, return literally like when they left, so they can go back and it's as if no time happened at all.
Which means Ben can still make his ship without being a deserter to the lady.
What are you drinking?
I'm looking for the brand name. It's Twisted Tea. I guess that is the brand name, Twisted Tea.
Okay. It's not Mike's hard lemonade or anything?
No. It just says Twisted Tea, hard iced tea.
And I'm drinking Magma Flame,
which is really
cinnamon
good.
whiskey, really good. Love this stuff.
Try it with Coke.
Nah, I just like it this. Alright, and hopefully someday Docs
cinnamon Coke.
Hopefully someday Docs might like sponsor us and give us the alcohol. That'd be cool. Because I buy this at Docs. It's the only place you can get this stuff here in Lubbock. I don't know about anywhere else, but it's good.
I don't know if Docs will ever sponsor us.
Yeah, nope. Nobody will probably ever sponsor us, but hey, it's fun.
Due to YouTube, what do you call it?
Search?
Yeah. YouTube ad.
We have YouTube ads?
Revenue. Well,
wait, what?
The people that pay for ads on YouTube, they don't want their content being displayed on certain videos. Okay. So you have this algorithm YouTube does, and it'll unmonetize certain videos depending on the...
Demonetize
certain videos depending on the content. So it does it for if drunk is in the title.
Hey, we're never getting monetized.
So there's this one podcast that used to be called the Drunk Tank, and they weren't able to get sponsors or monetized like with ads on YouTube, so they had to switch it to the RT podcast and take the drunk out so it'd be sponsorable.
RT.
Rooster Teeth. It's the people that make their content creators online. They make machinimas and shorts. And
I figured they'd be like DT or something instead of for Drunk Tank instead of Rooster Teeth.
Well, it was the RT Drunk Tank. It was Rooster Teeth. They called their podcast the Drunk Tank. Kind of like how your channel's Gwimblow, but it's the Drunk Doctor Who podcast.
Oh, well, yeah, it's because I can't figure out how to change it to Drunk Doctor Who.
We can. We can do that if you'd like.
Yeah.
But it might be easier to search. Gwimblow's a little hard to spell.
True. But eventually, we get enough viewers that the Drunk Doctor Who will just come up.
is the Rooster Teeth channel, and they had the Drunk Tank, and it couldn't get monetized or sponsored. They were having trouble with it because it had drunk in it. So they switched it to the RT podcast for the Rooster Teeth podcast.
I'm not looking to get rich off of anything. I just, if we get the alcohol paid for, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get
Sponsored by
or something.
NordVPN.
Yeah, or something. I don't know. Who knows? We've talked about that before. All right, Bird.
What? Loot box, loot crate.
What? All right. Anyway, so this serial, The Faceless Ones,
The Faceless Ones,
is mostly reconstruction. Mm-hmm. Episodes 1 and 3 exist. Episodes 2, 4, 5, and 6 are reconstruction. However, this is the current serial that they are animating. So right now, this is being animated by the BBC.
So we'll get it like 5 years from now or something.
Hopefully next year. Hopefully we will get the Macroterra in the States and the Faceless Ones in the States, both animated next year. Because the Macroterra has been released in the UK, but not here in the States.
Because they don't like us.
Well, they don't. They love a big American market. What are you talking about?
I think they're upset about the tea.
Right. Okay. So,
this
anyway,
is the only tea we drink now.
that's we drink tea with alcohol in it now. All right. So they've been going through and they animated the Power of the Daleks in this season 4, and they animated the Faceless One or the Macroterra, and they're doing the Faceless Ones. Hopefully they'll do the Evil of the Daleks next, and then the Highlanders. And then they can finally release the season, or at least the second Doctor's portion of the season, because the first Doctor had the first 2 serials. I'm kind of hoping and expecting that they release the Doctors separately, so they don't have like a multi-Doctor box. So they put the first 2 serials of season 4. With the first Doctor in season 3, and they just do these serials for season 4 for the second Doctor.
Here's an idea.
What?
So they release the box sets by season. It has that season's Doctor on it. Since we go from Hartnell to Troughton during this season, it has one of those holographic fronts that when you shift it back and forth, it goes from one picture to another. You know those DVD covers that...
No, I know what you're talking about.
And you do that, it goes Hartnell, Troughton, Hartnell, Troughton. That'd be cool, right?
I'm kind of hoping that they take the first 2 serials they just put it in with season 3 for...
I think a transitional holographic... what do you call them?
Holograms.
When they... You know what I'm talking about? The little plastic, and then you shift it and it changes the picture. Yeah. Those are holograms? Like a holographic DVD cover.
Yeah, no, but... So they're going through and they're slowly but surely animating all the missing stuff for this season in particular. And wait. I have Pertwee's. All right, John Pertwee's 4th season, which is the 10th season of Doctor Who. But here in the States, they're not putting season 10. They're putting John Pertwee complete season 4, which is why I think that they're going to divide the Doctors. And they're not going to have a multi-Doctor season, is because they are not naming them season 10 of Doctor Who. It's John Pertwee season 4 for Doctor Who. So that's why I think they'll divide it up like that. But this just came out on Tuesday, and I purchased it, and it will go in here with the other stuff. So we now have 2 of Tom Baker's seasons, 1 of Peter Davison, 1 Pertwee. There's supposed to be a Colin Baker coming up on Blu-ray, and then possibly I forget his name. Hold on. McGann? No, McCoy coming up, and then there'll be all of the original of the shows. Doctors will have a season, except for Hartnell and Troughton, because they're still animating their stuff to complete seasons. So at the rate these Blu-rays seasons are coming out, they have time to go ahead and hopefully animate all the missing stuff to get those seasons out on complete Blu-ray seasons. And I'm sure they will be some of the last ones to go. But they're filling up the holes in the heaviest hit seasons first. Okay. At least we're on Doctor Who topic and not some crazy political stuff. Okay.
Speaking of something off.
No.
I got my first speeding ticket.
Why did you get what were you speeding?
So I'm with Sarah. We had the weekend free. So she's like, hey, let's go visit my friend in Dallas. Mom and my brother's going to be there. So it's like, yeah, cool. We'll hang out with your family. So we leave Thursday after we get off work because we have Friday, Saturday. So we're driving down on Thursday, ETA like 10 p.m. It's nighttime. It's like we're on the highway, so it's like 70, 75, and then we're getting into a town, so it goes to 55. And then that's all I see for a while. And I'm gonna like, 55, 54, and then it's been a while since I've seen a speed limit sign. So what's the speed limit? And then I see a 45 speed limit sign. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm speeding. I'm going like 9 over because I was going 54. So I hit my brakes, and I see the lights. And he pulls me over and he's like, how you doing? Do you know how fast you're going? I'm like, ah, shoot, I was going like 54. It was a 45. He's like, it's actually a 40 before the 45. So he clocked me at like 14 over. And I got my first speeding ticket. Hey, you're not supposed to have that.
I forgot to turn it off. I'm turning it off now. There we go. It's off. Whee! Okay.
So I was going 54 and a 40. Come to find out. Got my first speeding ticket. It was, no, it was further than that.
Post is bad for that.
It was like something port.
Something port?
Mm-hmm.
Bridgeport?
Bridgeport.
Okay.
It was Bridgeport. Yeah, he was not happy.
You just missed the
I missed the speed limit signs, yeah.
Okay. As a note, the reconstruction for this, which soon we'll have the animation, so
you ever get speeding tickets, Saturday?
Not in a long time. Not in 20-something years.
Oh, wow, that's good. This was my first ticket ever. I don't have a clean record.
I'm not in a big rush to get anywhere anymore. The last one I remember getting, I was like 27.
Wow.
Anyway, so
hopefully this is the last one I get.
There you go.
For the next 20 some odd years.
All right. So with this on the reconstruction, the episodes that exist were not included on the disc because this was before the BBC would let them do that.
Disc swap.
So we had to get the Lost in Time.
We had to do musical chairs with
discs. Right. We had to get the Lost in Time for Trouton, and we had to swap out discs. So we saw episode 1 on here as actual, episode 2 here is reconstruction, episode 3 here is actual, and then episodes 4, 5, and 6 here is reconstruction. And the only other time we've had to do that was the Crusade, the Crusades. But hopefully, I don't think we have to do that again, and hopefully everything else will be filled in soon with the animation, and we won't have to do that ever.
I remember being really excited for the Crusades, and now that I think of it, I don't think they're that memorable. I don't remember the Crusades.
The Doctor Who series?
The serial, yeah.
It was good.
It's like, man, the Crusades, I'm excited. And thinking about it now, I can't remember it all. Maybe because I'm drunk.
It was pretty good, but Okay, so next week, we're going to go over the plot of this, don't worry. I'm just kind of skipping ahead, I guess. Next week, I think we're going to do a movie, right?
Movie night.
Movie night. Because we haven't done a movie night in October yet.
What's our movie?
It'll probably either be The Ruling Class or Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Okay, because Sarah won't be here.
She won't?
No.
Then we should do The Wall.
Guys' night, I'll bring Levi.
Pink Floyd's The Wall is definitely a guy's movie.
It's just
another brick in the wall. Right.
Another dick with no balls.
Right, okay.
Someone made a parody of that song.
No, I believe it. So anyway, so we won't be here next week. We're going to do Pink Floyd's The Wall. Week after that, we'll be back, and that'll be November 4th. And we'll be doing The Evil of the Daleks.
What's today?
Dude, right here. Today's the 21st.
21st. This year's flying by, man. I can't.
Life's like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes.
They just keep getting faster and faster. I'm frightened. How quickly.
Welcome to my world, dude. Welcome to my world. Okay, so The Evil of the Daleks is 7 episodes, 6 of which are reconstructions. Only 1 exists.
Time is relative.
So that one's going to be probably a big time animation.
Your age?
What?
When they say time's relative, relative to what? Your age? Your experience?
I think that's the original meaning is time is relative is based on your age and what you're doing. I think later on it came to be more of a Einstein's theory of relativity thing. Let's see. So anyway.
I don't understand.
Alright. Einstein postulated that the closer you get to the speed of light,
time's the slower time until it
right time slows down,
or if you go fast enough it'll even go backwards or something like
that. So if you went fast enough, you would basically time would slow down for you. It would be normal to you, but it would be faster than the rest of the universe, so that you
I don't understand how though.
Yeah, neither do I. It's a theory of relativity. None of it's been proven. We can't travel faster than the speed of light at this point, no matter what Doctor Who says, and likely never will. Well, we may someday. I don't know. If you are in the future and you are somehow watching this ancient video,
come and join us.
And you can travel faster than the speed of light, hey, come to my house. We'll give you some whiskey, some flavored whiskey. You know.
You're gonna have
like tell us about this.
Strange homeless people showing up to your house. I heard there's free beer. I'm from the future.
Whiskey. Alright. So anyway. Alright. On to the plot. Alright.
What plot?
What do you mean what plot?
I'm joking.
It's good plot.
This was a good series.
It was a really good serial. And it did need to be 6 episodes.
Isn't that? Maybe 5.
Yeah, I think this is good. Alright. So the Doctor, Ben, Pauline, and Jamie. And
no longer here. You just erased them?
Well, they're leaving at the end of the serial.
It's just companions.
At the end of the serial.
Okay. Yeah, Thanos snapped them out of existence.
There you go. Okay. They're leaving at the end of the serial.
Speaking of movies with dark endings, like, you never saw Avengers Part 2.
No, I like the end. I like the ending of Part 1.
Have you seen Joker yet?
No, I want to.
I think you would like that one.
I do. I want to see Joker.
It's very dark.
It's on my list. I'm gonna go see it hopefully soon if life doesn't keep happening. And speaking of which, here, toast for Lucas. Lucas, period.
Just to you, Lucas.
He passed away Tuesday. His memorial service was today. Here's to the memory and the immortalization of Lucas, period. We've had so many friends pass away recently in the last year or so. But his was a pulmonary aneurysm, supposedly. It was sad. But his memorial service was today at the shop. I wanted to stay for the whole thing.
At your shop?
At my shop, yeah. Oh. But I had to leave early,
That's
so
nice.
It was the least I could do.
Yeah.
Every single person who was there was a friend of mine. And he was a friend of mine. Anyway, so I had unfortunately leave early because I told Chris I'd be there for his master's defense, and he successfully defended his master's thesis. So he's going to graduate with a second master's now.
Wow.
Yeah, the guy's smart, really smart. But anyway, so life keeps happening, and my in-laws, I was supposed to show them apartments today in senior citizen living areas.
Cool.
But if life slows down for a bit, I'm going to hopefully be able to go see the Joker before it leaves theaters. Because I do want to see the Joker.
It's very good.
Yeah, I do.
And Zombieland Double Tap's coming out, the second Zombieland.
No. We saw it Thursday.
How is it?
It's fun. It's fun.
I want to watch it.
I like it.
That's going to be my Halloween movie for the year.
There's a fun blonde girl. And they're like, how did she survive? Well, the zombies eat brains. They couldn't find her. But no, it's fun. They find her, and she goes for the young guy, and he's like, "Well, I don't know," because he just broke up with the girl from the first one, and she goes, "Okay."
Spoiler.
spoiler. Oh, you know that was gonna happen. And she goes, okay, if you don't have sex with me, I'm gonna like bite the bullet and go do it with the old guy. And she's talking about what's his name?
Yeah, his name skips me.
Okay, the guy from Cheers and Natural Born Killers.
I just had it until you asked for it.
Why do you do that?
Wichita, Little Rock.
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson. Which is great because those actors just don't age. You can make another movie. It's been 10 years since the first Zombieland movie. Woody Harrelson looks exactly the same.
Well, he's at a point in his life it's going to look the same until he really starts really aging in the 70s or 60s or whatever. The only one that doesn't look the same is the young girl who is now an adult.
Little Rock.
Yeah, she's now an adult.
Stone looks exactly the same.
Pretty much, yeah. And what's his name?
Michael. It's not Michael Cera. It's the other one.
He looks exactly the same. Anyway, it was Zombieland 2 was a fun movie, double tap, and I saw Jay and Silent Bob reboot last Tuesday. That was fun. That was good. I liked it.
I was watching a video where Silent Bob came out with that one like Dragula or something. It was about a fallen angel or something. Really, Dogma. He came up with Dogma. They were protesting the movie, and he showed up to protest.
And
his own
he
movie,
got it, yeah.
And he got on the news.
and he says, "Yeah, I know, I look like him. I know." But he was pretending. But that was
hilarious.
Okay. Jay and Silent Bob reboot has a lot of heart. It's just a weird amalgamation of everything he's ever done previously, thrown into a big gumbo pot and all mixed up. But it has a lot of heart. It seems like he's, after his heart attack, he's moving forward, turning a page, and being done with a lot of things. And I think he's turning a corner. And it's a good movie. It's fun.
What's his name? James...
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith. Why couldn't I think of it?
Right. Jay and Silent Bob, and Kevin Smith plays Silent Bob.
Kevin Smith. He's getting old. He's to the point.
He lost a lot of weight, but
he's getting skinny because of his age. You know, you're at a certain age and you can be stout. And then once you pass the age, you kind of.
He's not that old. He lost the weight on purpose.
Yeah. He looks older because of it. Which
partly, yeah.
He looks great though. That sounds.
I don't know. But in the movie, he plays both Silent Bob and Kevin Smith. So yeah, it is. It is weird. It is funny. And his daughter's in the movie, and he's kind of passing the torch on to his daughter in the movie. I know it's really good. But pretty much everybody who's ever been in one of his movies shows up in this, and it's a really except for the stupid movie Cop Out. All the other movies are referenced, and all the other they even reference Cop Out. But Bruce Willis is not in this movie. But pretty much everyone else ever in any of his movies is actually in this, including an end credits cameo by Stan Lee.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, who was in Mallrats. Yeah.
All right, filming this for a little while.
Well, he did part of it then, but yeah, most of it now. All right.
Kevin Smith's a cool guy. I wish I had his comic book collection.
Well, I wish you could do the podcast with us as a guest one day. That'd be fun.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Watch some Doctor Who. He may or may not know what the hell's going on, but then we explain it to him.
That might not be in his circle of nerdom.
Right, that'd be hilarious. We have to pull the camera back a little bit to include him.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
What do you mean you don't know what's going on?
I haven't seen any of these before.
Well, but you're watching them now.
Is that the sonic screwdriver?
Well, but you've seen all the previous ones.
Yeah, that's true.
So picture being thrown in without any previous context. All right. Anyway, so
podcasts, they get successful and they get monetized, and then they get these celebrity guests like the Good Mythical Morning podcast. I'd love if we got to that point to where we could get celebrities onto our podcast.
What the hell is Good Mythical Morning?
It's a really successful YouTube channel.
Okay. I have no idea.
Red and Link. Anyway, they started off small. They really blew up on YouTube, and now they have famous people on their show.
And what the hell is wrong with drunk in the title? I don't understand. I don't understand. Okay. Anyway, so the Doctor, Jamie, Ben, and Polly.
Yes.
The TARDIS materializes on a runway at Gatwick Airport.
He just erased them off the board. They're gone. So I was in class, and
oh my gosh!
One time I showed up early, and like a few of my classmates and I were hanging out in the classroom until the teacher showed up and the class started. And I went over to his podium, and he had a printout of all the headshots of every student in his class. And every time someone dropped his class, he took a red marker and he just X'd their face out. So it was a kind of difficult class. So I looked at this piece of paper he had on his desk, and it had all of our faces, and then like several of them were just like X'd out with a red marker.
This is horrible.
It made me laugh so hard.
I mean, it's funny, but it's all tragically, horribly funny.
He's just like, not that one anymore. He's not here. Just a very unceremonial goodbye.
This was at Tech?
No, South Plains.
Oh, it's South Plains. Okay. All right. Okay. For context, in Lubbock, Texas, we have 4 universities / colleges. Texas Tech is the big one, 40-something thousand students. Then we have campus for Wayland Baptist University. We have Lubbock Christian University. And we have South Plains College.
Community.
And so we have a lot of college students here. Maybe
College town.
55, 60,000 or something like that. All together. But we have 300,000 people, so they make maybe an additional 20% on top of the permanent population we have. Anyway, okay, Doctor Who.
You can really tell when the semester starts because traffic gets a little congested.
Yeah.
Living spaces fill up. Doctor Who is so.
Okay. So the Doctor, Ben, Polly, and Jamie. The TARDIS materializes on a runway in Gatwick Airport.
I'll let you finish the plot.
You haven't let me finish anything in weeks. Okay. Alright, so anyway. So the TARDIS materializes on an airport runway. Jamie pops out and goes, "Ooh, it's a metal beastie. It's a flying beastie." And then Jamie runs off. The Doctor, Ben, and then Polly all follow. And they kind of get fingered by the local constabulary, the local police, as not being where they should be. So they scatter. And Ben goes one way, and the Doctor and Jamie and Polly go another way. The Doctor and Jamie and Polly end up hiding behind some giant tires of airplanes. Polly ends up wandering into a hangar of Chameleon Tours. It's the name of the tour company, Chameleon Tours. She witnesses one man murdering another man. Turns out he's murdering the other man with a ray gun. Polly doesn't understand it's a ray gun. She just knows that he shot the gun at the other guy. She doesn't quite see it. Then she gets discovered by the guy who murdered the other guy, but she escapes. She meets back up with the Doctor and Jamie, and then they decide to go to the control tower of the airport to talk to the guy who's in charge, to explain to him, because Polly shows the Doctor and Jamie the dead body in the Chameleon Airport hangar, Chameleon Tours hangar. So they go trying to talk to the head guy who's in charge. Polly, who's at the back of the line, gets kidnapped. The Doctor and Jamie try to find her, but they can't find her because she's kind of been frozen with an alien frozen pen. So they go to talk to the guy in charge, who's the commandant. They have a hard time getting in. They eventually do. They talk to the commandant. The commandant doesn't believe them because they're talking about ray guns and TARDIS spaceships and all this kind of stuff and dead bodies. They finally get the commandant to go inspect. In the meantime, the people who run the Chameleon tours have removed the body and they've stashed Polly somewhere. And Ben is gone this whole time because he's being chased after by another Bobby. Come on in. Wait. Okay, you got water. Good. Get some more of these tea thingies.
I have one right here.
Alright, you got
my backup.
Finish those. Alright, remember we have a bedroom if you need it. Hey! Okay, so the doctor eventually meets up with the commandant, and they go and they look for the body, but there's no body there because everybody got moved. But he eventually meets with somebody else. What's his name from Scotland Yard?
Detective Crossland.
So they meet up with this guy, and he goes,
"That's the one that wasn't murdered."
Right. He's like, "Well, my friend, my associate was looking into this," and they go, "Oh, that's a picture of the guy who we found dead." So they decide. The commandant's like, this is all craziness, this is all insanity. But the guy from Scotland Yard, Grossland or whatever, says, well, give him leave for 12 hours. Let him have to run the place because he's the only lead we have. So then the doctor gets the capability to run around and look at things. Eventually they discover that the people running Chameleon Airlines are aliens who utilize human bodies that are originals, quote-unquote originals, and they duplicate these people because their planet was destroyed in some sort of accident and they no longer have the capability of identity, so they have to copy other people's identities to survive. If they don't, they'll die or something along those lines. So what they've been doing with the Chameleon Airlines is flying young people to destinations as a budget travel airlines, but they're not actually flying them there. They fly out and then they take their airplane all the way up 150 miles into space, and they take all the young people and they miniaturize them, and they're going to take them back to their home planet.
Is there a limit to how high the atmosphere can be before you get to space? Like, is the atmosphere higher the bigger the planet is?
Yes.
So, like, yeah.
Well, it can be.
Really big
it can
planet.
be. It's all based on gravity, and the larger the planet,
really
the higher the
gravity.
atmosphere can be because the gravity pulls it in. But it doesn't necessarily need to be. Some planets don't have as thick an atmosphere as we do. Other planets have a thicker one. Like I think, is it Saturn or Jupiter has an incredibly crazy atmosphere. It's a gaseous planet.
So yeah, what's the deal with gas planets? This is just a planet made out of gas.
Yeah.
I mean, how does gas have mass?
We honestly don't know what's at the center, I believe, of some of these planets.
So don't like gas.
Okay, we don't know what's at the center of Jupiter. Technically, we don't know what's at the center of Earth. We're guessing.
Jupiter's. Do you think Earth is a hollow planet, or there's like a molten core?
Okay.
Have you seen Godzilla? That's how he gets around everywhere so quick. He goes through the hollow core of the Earth and he just pops up.
Which Godzilla?
The newest one.
Oh,
because Godzilla always he's on Monster Island and then he walks to Tokyo and they're like, how do you? But like modern Godzilla movies come out and they're like, well, how does he get around so quick? So they came up with this explanation where there are these like water jet streams that like go through because the core of Earth is hollow. And it just like carries him to Tokyo and he can swim places really quickly. Despite
movies like Iron Sky 2, which is great, about the hollow
Godzilla,
Earth stuff.
Which is great. Journey to the Center of the Earth, that Earth was hollow.
Okay, in general, they think there's a molten core to Earth, but we don't know because we haven't been there, we haven't tapped that far deep.
Because it gets real hot the further
It's true. Although, to be fair, To be fair, Doctor Who eventually goes very deep. Well, not necessarily, but goes really deep with Tennant's Doctor. No,
because like
no, Matt Smith's Doctor.
Here's Earth, right? And like this is how far we've gone through the crust of Earth.
True.
As humanity.
Okay.
So we have no idea what's all.
Okay. Anyways, so they're stealing all these young people, 18 to 25, and they're taking them up, miniaturizing them in a frozen state. They're taking them up to the satellite to take them back to their home planet, so everybody can get an identity because they can't survive without them, but somehow they have.
Some tragedy.
Right, some weird tragedy. It's not fully explained.
Their faces are real flaky.
Oh, yeah, they're ugly.
They're real hard to look at.
Yeah, that ugliness right there, okay? Anyway, so... Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, the one in the middle, yeah. Anyway, so... They're kidnapping the people for this purpose. Ben and Polly kind of disappear around episode 3.
Why is chameleon spelled with an H?
Because they're British.
Chameleon.
They're British.
Chameleons.
They've got a lot of extra letters and a lot of weird...
Chameleons.
The center, the medical center, is C-E-N-T-R-E. Because of the French influence, not C-E-N-T-E-R, because Benjamin Franklin wrote the Bloody Dictionary.
You should probably rewrite that by now.
Okay. Anyway, so they end up... Ben and Polly get captured. They end up there.
I heard that was because of the printing press. Because it's cheaper to take out unnecessary letters. So they're like, well, here's the word color. We don't really need a U in that word. So it became C-O-L-R.
Okay, don't know, but we don't need the U. That part's correct. We don't need the U. The British have the U, we don't have the U. It's the French
cheaper. It is cheaper for the printing press.
Yeah. Okay.
Turn out newspapers quicker.
Okay, so...
Took out all the unnecessary letters. Mostly the U's, like an honor.
Right, so Ben and Polly are captured. And then the Doctor and Jamie find this young lady, Samantha.
Do you think that's why our accents are different? Because we took out the U's on our...
No!
Or if we all came from Europe, why are our accents so different?
The accents are different because we kept the accent in the back of the mouth, whereas they moved to the front. Because accents and linguistics change over time through the mouth. I'm serious.
Is that... Okay.
Okay, so the accents in the Northeast, the original part of the country, which is the closest to the English stuff, they say Harvard because they're in the front of the mouth, they're nasally. Whereas we say Harvard because we're working with the back of the mouth. Things change over time, and it'll go to the front, then it'll work to the bottom, and then come back around.
Why?
Because we're human and we're weird. I don't know why.
So after like a few hundred more years, you think our vocals are going to cycle, and then Europe's going to be in the back, and we're going to be in the front?
Yes and no. Yes, because that's what it's always been, but no, because nowadays... We have the
self-perpetuating.
We have the internet.
Yeah.
We have TV.
Audiobooks.
We have video and audio, and so what it's done is it started to mainstream a particular accent or lack thereof. It has taken the regional differences and it's focused them so they're losing those particular differences. We are losing accents. And we are losing different...
That's why people say Americans don't have accents.
Well, we say that because we're American, but yeah, slowly but surely, thanks to the internationalization of certain accents or lack thereof, we are losing regional differences in speech. both
So we're losing
vernacular and
Western
accents.
accents and Boston accents. And
Slowly but surely,
New York,
yes. The New York still have those accents, you know.
but we're losing them?
Well, slowly but surely, it's all becoming one particular accent or lack thereof. But it's taking time. Certain enclaves will maintain their accents for a long time, but eventually it may all be gone.
What does enclave mean? That's like a sheltered...
A sheltered area. Right. A particularly...
Silesian. Silesian.
A particularly sequestered area that doesn't have much contact with the outside. Anyway, so...
That's my piloting.
No, don't stop.
I
That's on the
can't
couch.
steer my plane.
No, stop that.
No,
stop that. All right. Okay. Anyway, where the hell were we? Okay, so Ben and Polly are gone. They are kidnapped by the Faceless Ones. Jamie is trying to help, and he ends up meeting the girl Samantha, who ends up being possibly a new companion.
Yeah, the love interest for Jamie.
Right.
Which she's kind of grating.
She is.
I think Jamie could do better.
We don't see him do better.
Oh.
But anyway, so Samantha...
Wasn't she Scottish? She's from
She seems Scottish.
Scotland
Yeah. Well,
Yard,
she's from Liverpool.
The detective was from Scotland Yard.
He was from Scotland Yard. She's from Liverpool. Anyway, so...
That's why the detective trusted Jamie.
I think the detective was just looking for any possible leads, and the doctor offered the best possible leads, even though they were insane. So Samantha's grading, and they offered the role of companion. The actress didn't accept it, thank the Lord. She would have been possibly, well, who knows? I doubt she would have been as bad as Dodo.
But only slightly.
But anyway, she's there looking for her brother who disappeared.
I feel like someone was playing the knife game on this couch.
Yeah.
Oh, I have all
Don't
my
do
fingers.
that. Right. So
goes chop, chop, chop.
eventually, don't do that.
You know that game?
Yes. Have you seen Alien?
I don't think I have.
Write that down on the list.
Talking about
Alien. A-L-I-E-N.
Talking about female protagonists, though. That's the
Yes.
right way to do it. She's, badass.
Wait, you haven't seen the film?
I haven't, but I've seen parts, and just the character.
Ridley's awesome.
Sarah Connor, Terminator, is a good female lead.
Agreed, but probably not in the new one. Alright.
I haven't seen the new ones.
Well, it's not out yet, but it looks so bad. Okay. So anyway, the girl's looking for her brother. She helps them figure out that the guys are filling out postcards ahead of time, so then they're sending the stamps back. They're mailing the postcards from the other countries, but the people aren't doing it. The comedians are doing it. Anyway, she's good. And what was the name of the secretary?
Jean
Jean
awesome.
was awesome.
Wish she was a protagonist.
I wish she ended up as a companion. She was fantastic.
She's like pulling ruses. She's
Right.
She's
She faints to help the
chairs,
doctor
tripping
get
people.
the nurse out of the medical
She
center.
and what's her face like overpowers one of the faceless ones. She's
Yeah,
just cool.
Jean's
She's
good.
Cool.
Anyway, so Jean is sweet, and Samantha not so much.
And
Samantha's
attractive.
great.
Jean was pretty.
Yeah, Jean was pretty. Yeah. So anyway, couldn't tell what her hair color was because it was black and white.
It
but I
looks
suspect
blonde.
it's blonde. Yeah.
Like a blonde.
So the doctor eventually convinces, with the help of both the guy from Scotland Yard and Jean and several others, and just obvious evidence that these are really actually aliens you're dealing with. And so finally the commissioner sends everybody out to look for the aliens' originals,
Yes.
The people that they're copying, because
doppelgangers.
Right, because if they remove,
you must have a double. I love that line.
That was great. Yeah,
that should go in quotes.
So, because apparently there's a white band that goes on your arm if you're the original. There's a black band that goes on your arm if you're the chameleon copying the original, and if the armband is removed from the original, the chameleon will turn to dust because they are completely dependent upon the original for identity and connection. So eventually the commissioner finds, with the help of the police and everyone else at the airport.
Commissar.
Sorry, the commissar is German.
Fancy.
He's German. Commissioner. They find.
I think you're developing an accent.
I'm developing it drunk. Anyway, so they find all the originals in cars.
Alien.
In the parking lot.
I added Alien to the list.
Alien. Okay.
Isn't there 1 and 2? And Alien versus Predator? Are you gonna watch all the Aliens?
There's Alien, Aliens, Alien Cubed, or Alien 3. No, seriously, it's written like Alien Cubed.
Oh, that's cool.
Alien. There's one where they come back.
Versus Predator?
Okay, well, there's Alien and Aliens. Ignore everything after.
The others aren't as good?
The others suck balls, and not in a good way. Stick with Alien and Aliens. Those two are good, the rest are crap.
What years did those come out? 1980s?
Alien was 79, I think.
Yeah.
And Aliens 83? 84 maybe? Anyway, those are the only two worth watching. The rest are crap. But those two are phenomenal. Like Terminator and Terminator 2.
So
Both
Joe
phenomenal.
Rogan on his podcast did a
Who's Joe Rogan?
He's like this UFC fighter, when UFC announcer, when Super Six Festival podcast host. It's called the Joe Rogan Experience. Great
Super
podcast.
Sex Festival?
Super successful podcast.
I like
It's-
mine.
it's called the Joe Rogan Experience. It's really good. He just has all sorts. It's really unbiased. He has people from all different sides of political and religious spectrums, and he sits them down and he talks to them. And there's no agenda. He's just presenting every side of every argument, and it's just really rational. He was talking about feminism and the feminism movement in this movie culture. And he was talking about how, the new Star Wars movie, they had these like really, Mary Sue female leads, like these people are just like,
Hi, I can do everything.
Yeah, and
just
it's like
I'm female.
It's like it's just presented in a way that it's not believable that these people are, commanders and admirals of these military fleets and stuff. And then he's talking about the right way to do it, and he brought up Alien. And now Alien was really cool because you have this male guy, and he's like this really buff, burly, and you're like, there's the protagonist, this cool, and then he dies right away. You're like, oh, the protagonist died.
About 40 minutes into the movie. About 40 minutes.
And then you realize, oh, she's the main character, and she's awesome. And she's believable and intense and gung-ho and like Sarah Connor in the first few Terminator movies. It's just intense and visceral, and they're not just I'm in charge because I can do everything. They're just actually take charge and are actually
strong. They're strong women, but they're not
resourceful
goddesses or Mary Poppins or what the hell ever. They're just people who've worked to be people,
Which is totally possible. Like, you can have actual strong female characters.
You can, without being Mary Sue's. I hate the Mary Sue crap.
Like, Perfect Dark. It's like the female version of James Bond. Because you have the Nintendo 64, you had James Bond on GoldenEye, awesome game. Came out with Perfect Dark, you had Joanna Dark, like 2077.
I don't want a
really
female
cool
James
video.
Bond.
Like Metroid. Metroid's a girl. She's cool.
Hey, make new characters. I'm sick of them taking male characters and making female.
The gender swap's weird.
I hate that.
Just make new characters.
I freaking hate that. Agreed. Although
like Captain Marvel, they're just switching genders on characters to make it more
Okay.
Diversified?
To be fair, why is your phone on? Turn that thing off. Turn it off.
It's up.
Turn it off. You just got on my case for having my phone on. Turn your phone off. Okay. To be fair, I absolutely hate the fact when they take male characters, you know, they're always white male characters that somehow become gay or female or some other color or all the above, right? Because we have to degrade men to build up women or minorities or whatever. It's always against us.
It's just like really forced diversification.
Right. To be fair, I watched a YouTube video recently. I really like this guy. He does a lot of Doctor Who stuff and some other stuff, but it's called Council of Geeks. And he made an argument that the reason that they have to take these, I hate this term,
cisgender. I don't know.
Yeah, I hate the term because
CIST.
CIST.
What does that mean? Like a cyst?
No, not CYST, but apparently it means that you are the way you were born.
Okay.
So
you identify with
I identify as male because I was born male. I don't understand identifying as anything else. But apparently he makes a case that the cis white male superheroes have to be changed to not not straight, not male, not white or whatever, because there's only so much room for superheroes, and because anytime they try to make a new superhero these days, this century, the 2000s and the 20-teens and apparently into the 2020s or whatever, it's because they get lost in the mix. There's only so much room for so many superheroes, and they have to switch them they have to make the ones who already exist into what they need to be to diversify. Okay, I don't agree with that argument. I don't. But it's the best argument I've heard.
It's
to date for what's going on. Agreed. It's the most rational. I don't agree with it, but I've got to examine it further. To be fair, his thing only came out a little while ago, and I only watched it maybe a week ago. I need to examine it further. But overall, I cannot stand the continuous taking of superheroes that have always been white or male or whatever and changing them into something that they were not meant to be originally, you know? But like I said, I'm just trying to be fair to the arguments on the other side. You know,
look at all sides of the argument.
Right,
to make an
agreed.
unbiased conclusion, educated.
And you can't reject something until you've looked at all of it. Yeah. And I'm still investigating this. If for some weird reason, Council of Geeks guy, you're watching this, hi, you may have influenced me. We shall see. I'm still inspecting it. But you make a good argument. You do.
That's why it's so important to not get all your news sources from one source, because news outlets and media sources are so biased nowadays. You have to really
need perspective,
diversify your sources to get the full picture of things, because one person will present one story one way to it's not always.
Yeah, unless you're Fox, just watch Fox. Okay, wait, anyway, where the hell are we?
We're talking about, you're still giving us our recap.
Okay, we're on episode 5. Okay, so anyway, so the doctor
must have a double.
Yeah, figures out everything on the what's going on. He figures out that one of the guys is a double. What was his name? Murray?
Meadows.
Figures out Meadows is a chameleon.
Controller.
Right, he's an air traffic controller. Figures out he's a chameleon. He's a double. And he convinces him and explains to him, gets him to talk as to what's going on. So Meadows spills all the beans. They find the nurse's original, and they cancel.
Pinto.
Right,
Pinto bean.
Nurse Pinto.
Pinto beans.
No, just Pinto. And they canceled the chameleon by releasing the Nurse Pinto. Well, no, we were past this part. So they go and they find all the doubles of the parking lots. This is episode 6. And the Doctor went up into the satellite on the final plane leaving.
Under the ruse that he was a chameleon himself.
Correct.
Which didn't work at all.
Well, yeah, it didn't work at all.
They saw it coming a mile away.
Agreed. Captain Blade saw it a mile away. So then the director, who has the Scotland Yard guy as his original, and he's the double, right? He and the controller, who is doubled as Jamie McCrimmon, who's the original, they try to escape after Blade says, no, we're going to work with the Doctor because the Doctor has actually found our originals and can kill all of us by removing the white armbands. They try to escape, they get shot, they die. The Doctor finds Jamie and the director, and he releases everybody, and they finally get everybody down in the planes. So supposedly the aliens are going to go back to their home planet, try and figure out another way to exist, and the 50,000 young people are released, including Ben and Polly, and they have a reunion in episode 6. And Ben and Polly decide to stay on Earth and go back to live their lives. The Doctor and Jamie head back to the TARDIS, or they're going to look for the TARDIS. And that's pretty much it. What questions did you have?
So some sketchy negotiations going on in the last episode, but some really, awesome displays of power when they're like, obviously they don't believe us. They think we're bluffing. Let's just make a demonstration of power. We'll remove an armband. This chameleon gets disintegrated. I really miss that era of warfare where it was okay to display dominance and power and on your opponents. Now I feel like we're in this age where it's like, oh, that's inhumane. Well, if these people are wishing you harm, you can't really
just okay. Nagasaki, boom. Hiroshima. Boom.
See, people say that was inhumane, but there's no way they would have surrendered otherwise, because they're resorting to guerrilla warfare, and they're in the trenches and in the tunnels, and that was just
until the Emperor of Japan said surrender, we have been defeated. The Japanese people had never surrendered.
Yeah.
We got that whole team.
They had such strong nationalism that there's a story where they found this World War II Japanese officer who got deserted on an island for 30 years. Yeah. And he still assumed that World War II was going on, and he never stopped, guerrilla warfare tactics, and he shot several people, and he wouldn't accept that the war was over until he found his commanding officer and sent him to his cave. He's like, the war's over. It's this really small, barely inhabited island. Yeah. It's crazy story. I'll have to link the story in the comment section.
That'd be cool. Do that.
I said I'd do something like that last episode, and I never did.
Alright, here's to the animations and continued release of Blu-ray seasons of classic Doctor Who.
Slurp, slurp.
And to Chris's Masters. Yay.
Hey.
Right. So, what other questions do you have?
Covered the change of the disco swap. Jamie still has no idea what's going on.
That is correct. He doesn't know how to read even.
He's like, look, a flying beastie.
Yeah. Okay, I'm holding the newspaper upside down because I don't know how to read.
Let's hide in the photo booth. What's that? It's a machine that takes your photograph. What's that?
Exactly.
Never mind.
Yeah. Okay, Jamie eventually gets there, but
he's like a comedic relief at this point, or is that more?
He's a bit of both. He becomes more the male lead now that Ben's gone. Because you need a strapping young man to do things, and if the Doctor's older, which he is for the first 3 incarnations, he gets younger later. You need somebody to be that strapping young man who can move things. And
Charlton's not too old.
Huh?
He still has colored hair.
Well, yeah, but he's like.
Do you think he dyes his hair?
No,
because he's wrinkly. Do they
he is wrinkly, but
because he has jet black hair.
No, but he's probably like 48 or so in this role.
I feel like he should have some gray. I think he just took the shoe polish and.
It's possible. Some people gray later, some people gray earlier. Steve Martin had gray hair in high school. He had gray hair in high school.
You could never tell though. He's in black and white.
Steve Martin?
I don't remember Steve Martin having pepper.
Steve Martin is
salt and pepper.
Okay, Steve Martin, except for artistic purposes, has always been in color.
He's on TV.
Yes.
I only ever remember him with darker hair.
No, gray hair.
Oh.
He said gray hair.
Oh, Steve Martin. I'm thinking of someone else.
Who are you thinking of?
The singer.
Dean Martin?
Dean Martin. Sorry, yeah, Steve Martin has super white hair.
Yes, okay.
I know who you're talking about.
Dean Martin is older, black and white. Steve Martin
I got confused. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm drunk.
We both are. I don't know how you get drunk on those things, but you're a lightweight. Alright, what other questions do you have?
Doctor falls into the freeze trap when he's searching through the warehouse.
Mm-hmm. Episode 4.
He kind of stumbles into a lot of traps, being someone of a superior intelligence. You know, he kind of bumbles.
Well, it's plot hooks. It's all plot related.
Okay.
You need a cliffhanger at the end of an episode.
But he dealt with it superbly.
He did deal with it superbly because he had found the freeze gun, the freeze pen.
He's been carrying it around for
and he stuffed the holes in the deal and covered up the camera and the freeze
put
pen
on
the
the
bad
guys
guys.
that he was.
Yeah,
it was cool.
That was fantastic.
So let's talk about the Doctor versus the chameleons, especially the director, who prided himself on having a superior intelligence, even superior to that of the Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's true?
Do I think what's true?
The director, the chameleon director, is smarter than the Doctor.
Hell no.
Because the Doctor would put on a guise and he tried to pull this ruse that he was a chameleon and sneak onto the flight, and then the chameleons knew it all along. They're like, we only let you onto the flight because we wanted your brain.
Well,
but
yeah.
Then the chameleons would also do some not smart things. Like
the Doctor figured everything out, which, was fantastic. He really figured everything out.
So does the Doctor ever meet like an intellectual superior to himself? There's someone that completely outwits him, and
you could possibly argue the Master does that, and you could possibly argue the Guardians do that.
Yeah, the Master's another Time Lord.
Correct.
Are
the
the
Guardians
Time Lords?
No, they're actually above the Time Lords. They're actually people who maintain and control the balance of the universe. And they
celestial beings,
essentially. But the Doctor is very clever. It's hard to get around how clever he is. He figures things out and he sets up plans and traps and he captures people that way. That's his best. This, despite his hyper competency, his hyper intelligence, his hyper knowledge, his cleverness is possibly his best asset.
So we never come across like a omnipotent, omnipotent sort of being in Doctor Who.
You can argue that the Guardians are that, and you can argue that other Time Lords like Omega are that, or Rassilon are that. But the Doctor usually out-clevers them.
Oh, so then they're not.
Well, the Doctor's just really good. What's the next question?
We were talking about the turbulent sort of life cycle of the serial, how there are a lot of writing changes, character changes, set changes. They fired the old set maker, the prop maker. They also changed the title a lot for the serial. Like, it used to be set in a shop. The shop was the front for the Faceless Ones. but then they switched it to the airport. So they switched the title of the serial from the shop to.
You're talking about early drafts of the.
But then, why would they switch it? Because the aliens are called chameleons. Why would they switch it from chameleons to the Faceless Ones? Is that a marketing thing? Or?
No, I mean it was just.
Because I felt like chameleons would be a better title because you have the Macro Terror. You guys had the serial sort of named after the antagonists.
Well, I think they didn't want to give the game away.
Because we didn't know the Chameleon Airlines.
Right. Okay. I think they didn't want to give the game away. But yeah, I mean, so the house that did the props up until now stopped doing it. It's not the end of the world. They changed the title sequence, not the end of the world. I mean,
that was a good thing that they changed the title. They said they changed the music to better suit the.
Well, they kind of truncated it.
So we have a general acceptance of the situation that there are aliens abducting people, and a lot of people. Eventually, especially by the end of the serial, we have all these people in charge, like the airline director, and we have policemen. They even had the whole entire airport staff searching for these frozen bodies that are being, cloned or doppled.
Yeah.
So we have this general acceptance that yes, they're aliens, they're abducting people, we have to negotiate and thwart this alien threat. Why is there never any sort of widespread media coverage of the fact that there are aliens abducting people? Because in serials that happened after this one, it's like, aliens? They don't exist. And then the next time, so like the Daleks come, aliens? They don't exist. And then the Cybermen come, and it's like, aliens? They don't exist.
They eventually do.
They eventually do. It's like an acceptance, like an earthly acceptance of aliens.
There is an eventual earthly acceptance of aliens. It happens to a certain extent in government with UNIT, United Nations Intelligence Task Force, starting with actually the Second Doctor. And later on it's called the Unified Intelligence Task Force when the United Kingdom later on in the 21st century stuff gets away from the United Nations. And we get the Brigadier and all those wonderful companions. And then later on in the 21st century stuff, you get a more common / global acceptance of the alien life.
Cool. So do you think specifically at this airport there's a big government cover-up of the aliens?
It's just no one would believe them. It's like if you and I saw an alien tonight, would we tell everybody? Probably not, because we don't think we'd be...
Well, if we had like several policemen and an entire airport and like all these people with co-spiracy, or what do you call it when the stories...
Conspiracy?
Aligning stories, like everyone has the same story. That's not, a mass amount of people conspiring to have the same story of aliens.
But, I mean...
I feel like people would believe them, especially when they have evidence.
And they do to a certain extent, because things do happen, but then eventually people forget about them and they just explain them away. Right. We have the capability as humans to rationalize stuff. Do we see a ghost? Nah. It was just a sheet, or the curtains, or whatever. I mean, we can rationalize a whole lot of crap.
And that happened with the Cybermen, even when they reappeared. It's like, Cybermen again. He's like, no, they're all dead. No, the Cybermen are back. You know the Cybermen? Yeah, that was a long time ago. There's no more Cybermen.
Right, and then they're back.
Nonsense, and he didn't want to accept it.
Yeah, and in this season, I mean, we have 2 appearances of Daleks and 2 appearances of Cybermen. It's kind of crazy.
So humans are dumb.
We're in trouble. Yeah, but we have the power of the Daleks, the evil of the Daleks, and we have the Cybermen in the moon base and in the 10th planet. So, I mean, in one season, 2 appearances of both of those.
So humans in general are just sort of an unbelieving species.
Yeah.
I feel like that's happened with the advancement of science, but I feel like initially humans were very, superstitious, and they'd make all sorts of religion and idols and gods just because they wanted an explanation of the supernatural. And as science sort of progressed and they could explain away things, this superstition has died down.
Well, yeah, but then you have the religion of science, and in so many ways it's wrong.
Yeah.
But anyway, what other questions do you have?
The Doctor kind of seems like a self-absorbed person, like a self-serving. He runs off, he does his own thing, and he just sort of leaves his companions in the dust. And it's like, if they can't keep up, and he's like, oh wait, all my companions are in dire, life or death situations. I have to go rescue them. All right.
he's always there for his companions.
Self-absorbed, distracted, like kind of, not always conscious of their existence.
But he's a bit of the what's it called? The
eccentric.
No, not eccentric. When you're always distracted, the absent-minded. He's a bit of the absent-minded professor, but at the same time, he always goes and rescues his companions
if he can.
Well, at great fault to himself, He goes all the way up into the spaceship, into the satellite, to rescue Ben and Polly and Jimmy. And he rescues them, and it's all good. But I mean, he will give his life for a companion any day, if it is at all possible for him to do as such. And that's proven here, that's proven in many other instances throughout Doctor Who.
The TARDIS is missing.
They find the TARDIS, they move on.
Even though Jean was supposed to get... Did Jean steal the TARDIS?
No, they find the TARDIS, they move on. Don't worry.
We'll find out next week. Or week after next.
2 weeks. Next week's Pink Floyd's The Wall. Why don't we have Sarah?
We're aliens. Real busy with school. Midterms coming up.
We gotta get her back at some point.
Midterms.
Gotta get her back. Okay. So next week, he and I and his brother Levi are going to watch Pink Floyd's The Wall, Guys Night. Week after, we'll tackle Evil the Daleks. And you guys have fun. If you watch this, if you enjoyed this, awesome. I don't ask you to do anything, like subscribe or click on anything, but
don't forget to like and subscribe.
No, don't. You just contradicted what I just said. Alright.
No, you said you don't do that.
I don't do that.
I'll do it.
Be your own people. Be your own selves. Do what you want to do. We don't bloody care, because apparently with Drunk in the Title, we're never going to be monetized.
If you want to share it, go ahead and share it.
Well, sharing is fine, but
apparently
with Drunk in the Title, we're never going to be monetized. We don't bloody care. We're doing this for our own sakes.
Comedy Central did it with Drunk History, but they're kind of their own producer at this point.
Yeah. See you in a couple weeks, guys. Have fun. Goodbye.
This has been the Drunk Doctor Who podcast, signing off. We'll see you a week after next. Bi-weekly. Bye.
Bye.
Hit the button.